Hey guys, welcome to the Touchdown Table. I'm Ryan, that's Tyler, that's Jordan, and we are bringing back our off-season outlook series as we look ahead to free agency, to the drafts, and to the long off-season ahead for many teams. If your team's still in it, good for you, but for a lot of teams, like this team that we're going to be talking about, the New York Jets, they are looking ahead to the off-season, to the draft, and trying to build their roster back to contention for the future.
Yeah, the Jets are not only not in it, they were really never in it.
Nope,
So
they were the first ones not to be in it.
Not now,
tomorrow,
not ever.
Not ever.
Well,
at least that's what it looks
in
like.
the future, they will be back. But this team is not they are not one player away. There is going to be some major rebuilding on this team, and we're going to bring all that information to you throughout this video. So stay tuned and let's get to it. What are the Jets got to do to the roster? Let's go through the roster first, and let's start with the offense. We'll take a look at that, the players that are on it, and what they can do to better that sucker.
Yeah, there's a lot they can do, Jordan. In case you didn't know, this is our off-season outlook video. Our first one, where we just talk about the teams and what they can do in the off-season to get themselves back on track or stay on track for the upcoming season. So we start with the Jets, maybe thinking that's not very much of a fun one, but it is fun because they got a lot of changes to make. So let's start, going with
where
their
the fun begins.
underwhelming offense here. You look at their line. They got Mekhi Becton last year. That ended up being a great pick for them. I'm trying to just think of other names that I know on the line.
There's a lot more on offense that I know. Connor McGovern on the line. He's someone that was with
that?
He was with the Broncos.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, where is he in here?
I don't know.
Center. Well, pull up the depth chart. That's easier.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And those are really the main two I know on the line. I think I've heard of George Fant before.
Maybe me too. Yeah.
Yes.
But so the line, you're probably not crazy interested in it, but there are some names on there, and that is something that they're going to have to continue to build. But there's a lot more on this team, and we're going to talk about the offense right now that they specifically have to build. Let's go to the obvious real quick, and let's go to the quarterback position. Right now, past few years, quarterback has been Sam Darnold. At this point, we're making this video. We have no idea what the future holds for that quarterback position. We don't know if the Jets really like Sam Darnold. They want to continue to give him a shot, or they're going to go out and draft somebody. But I guess I'll ask you guys that question. What do you think the Jets should do, and why?
If they had pick number one, I'm sure we'll talk about the Jaguars who have that pick at another point with these videos. But if they had pick number one, I would say go out and get Trevor Lawrence. But with pick number two, I don't know if you take that chance. You drafted Sam Darnold, I believe, actually second overall. Or was it third? Third overall, that's right. So just around here. And, you haven't really given any chances to succeed. Look at his receivers. We'll talk about it more in a second. But his best receivers were Jamison Crowder, Brashad Perryman, Denzel Mims. That's just Braxton Berrios, who's all in there. That just doesn't set up for success with Sam Darnold. We've seen greatness from him, but I just haven't seen an opportunity to say where you can clearly say, oh, this guy is not good. You can say, he's not good enough to overcome this terrible team that he's been on, but not a lot of quarterbacks are. So I think you stick with him. Maybe you go out and get someone in the offseason, like later on in the draft, just to provide some competition, but nothing that should be worrisome of taking Donald's job away. Give him another year, I think.
Yeah, I'm exactly, on the same boat with that. I agree. I think that the thing with the Jets, you're not a quarterback away. So what I do, try and trade down from number two. You're not a player away. It's not like whoever you pick at that spot at number two is going to get you to 10 wins. This is going to be a rebuilding process. The Jets know that. Joe Douglas knows that. Robert Saleh, their new coach, knows that. This is going to be a process. It will take time. So you're not a quarterback away. It might be tempting because whether it's Justin Fields or Zach Wilson, whoever they'd take, I think that what the Jets should do, understand you're not a quarterback away. For once, try to build around Sam Darnold and actually set him up to succeed, because throughout his whole career, he did not have the talent. He did not have the adequate coaching. I think that Sam Darnold absolutely deserves at least one more season, and, we'll see what the Jets management thinks about it. That's probably the biggest decision facing them this offseason. But if I'm the Jets, I trade down from number two, get more draft capital. You already have 2 first-round picks. You already have a high second-round pick. You have a great opportunity to address a lot of different needs really high in the draft. So what I do, keep Darnold and potentially trade down from number two, because I'm sure there's a quarterback seeking team that would make that jump.
Yeah, Ryan, you said it perfectly. And just to give you my answer, I saw flashes out of Sam Darnold last year, as did these guys sitting next to me. So it's so hard to judge him because the situation that he has been in has been so rough. But Ryan, you mentioned that he's going to need help. The help that he had this year Let's start with running back. The running back position, a bit slim, although at times they got it done. Obviously started with Le'Veon Bell, then he got moved to the Chiefs where he is right now. And so the running backs remaining, Michael Pirine, who was actually got injured at the end of the year. He was a rookie out of Florida, and then Ty Johnson stepped in there. And also Frank Gore was in that lineup as well. He's actually not even on this depth chart, but he was one of the running backs. So that's a position they could target, but it's not like Ryan said, they're not one player away. It's not like one good running back is going to change this team. There's going to be a lot of help that needs to go on around this whole team. So let's briefly cover the wide receiver position right now and how that could be helped.
I said it before, I'll say it again. Their top receivers, Jamison Crowder, Rashad Perryman, Denzel Mims, and Braxton Berrios. Not exactly the brightest bunch of wide receivers in the NFL. Now, there are guys like Denzel Mims, who's just coming off his rookie year, that has a chance
He's been
to
injured,
do
too.
some stuff.
Yeah.
Jamison Crowder has been good throughout some periods in his career. Same thing with Rashad Perryman.
If you played fantasy, there were some games where Crowder did some good things. I mean, he was somewhat of a bright spot on this offense, I guess, if there were any. But.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not. Wait till we get to the defense, and it gets a bit worse than the offense. The offense is good compared to the defensive names that you'll see. So, I mean, I feel like there's not much to say about these receivers except, there's some potential there, but it's just average all around.
Yeah, and you mentioned the weakness at the receiver position. Denzel Mims is a guy that's still got some potential.
I think it'd be a wide receiver one. I like.
I mean, yeah, maybe in time he showed some flashes, but as we mentioned, battled injuries, and it was just a rough year overall in New York for the Jets. But there are, what I do want to mention, there's a decent amount of players, of wide receivers specifically, out there in free agency. I don't know how many of them would want to go to the Jets, but if the Jets pay them, I'm sure they'd go there. AJ Green, Allen Robinson, T.Y. Hilton. We don't know. Larry Fitzgerald will probably retire, but if he doesn't, he'll be out there, although I'd assume he'd go back to Arizona. Marvin Jones from Detroit, Sammy Watkins. So there's a lot of guys out here. If the Jets want to upgrade that position and not have to spend draft capital on that, I think that is a route they could go if they have the money.
Yeah, absolutely. This wide receiver group, I'd say, is the way I describe it, is they're kind of a group of number 2 wide receivers. They're solid number 2 wide receivers. Perriman, when he was with Tampa Bay, he wasn't even really a number 2 wide receiver, but he was more of a deep threat and a guy that would show up every few games and have a big game. Crowder has done some good things throughout his career, and I like Denzel Mims coming out of Baylor. So there's potential, but they do need to add more to that wide receiver help. Also, we didn't mention it, tight end Chris Herndon. He's had some ups and downs. There have been some games where it looks like he could be really good, and then he kind of is dormant for some time.
Been a lot of the tight ends this year, though.
Yeah, it definitely has been. So I don't really know what else to say about him. He's also thrown in there as well, and I don't see a need for a tight end because I feel like Herndon is serviceable for this time. All right, we talked about the offense. Unless there's anything I'm missing, should we move to the defense?
I'm okay with that.
Let's do it.
And I just want to say real quick, Robert Saleh is in for a rude awakening because this is not quite the group that he was coaching in San Francisco.
Yeah, he goes from Nick Bosa, Richard Sherman, all those guys there to
who?
Folorunoso Fatukasi.
Yeah.
And
let's play a game
Neville
here.
Hewitt.
I'm going to read you the stars according to this website. Put a finger up every time you know one of those names.
Okay.
Just so we're well now it's football people.
Yeah.
I'll do it as well as I go through it. Henry Anderson. No. Florenzo Fakukasi. No. Nathan Shepard. No. Terrell Basham. No. Neville Hewitt.
I've heard the name before.
I know.
Sheriff Finch. No. Frankie Louvu. No. Bryce Hall.
There we go.
Rookie. Marcus May. I know.
Oh, yeah. He's actually decent.
Yeah. Matthias Farley.
No.
I know him. And Blas Austin. Anyone? No.
But,
but we do know two people that are not necessarily labeled starters. We know Lamar Jackson because he was a rookie last year out of Nebraska. We know Quinn Williams. We also know C.J. Mosley.
Yeah, he opted out, right?
Yeah,
I think he did, yeah.
Yeah, so.
And then Ashton Davis they have as well.
Yeah, he got it.
And
we're getting some traction.
There's some younger guys that we know because of the draft.
Yeah,
Mosley.
Out of Florida.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There's some injuries on the defense, so it's not as bad as it looks if you just look at the starters at the end of the season. But
yeah, I mean Quinn Williams, I thought this year, it looked like, he started off his career a little disappointed, but I think this year he's being the player that we knew he could be, and I'm sure the Jets are happy.
I mean,
he is.
He's not that.
He still hasn't reached his ceiling.
They expected when they got him, immediate. Yeah. He hasn't had that immediate impact, but over time,
bless you, thank you.
You're starting to see why he was drafted so early on in the first round.
No, I am okay.
Okay. Yeah, so with the defense, it's hard to go into specifics because, as we mentioned, us as well as probably you, unless you're a Jets fan, and even if you are a Jets fan, you still might not know them all. We don't really know too much about this defense. We know that they did lose Jamal Adams during this season, so that was a loss, but they're in that rebuild mode. And for the real rebuild, I expect them to start on the defensive side of the ball. And it's pretty obvious why. They just hired a defensive-minded head coach in Robert Saleh. And so I expect them to start trying to rebuild this defense. And we saw with San Francisco, you can go to the Super Bowl with a phenomenal defense and an average offense. We've seen it with many other teams down the line as well, like the Giants, who won the Super Bowl with a great defense and an average offense. So I guess that's what they were trying to start there in New York. But I feel like we covered all we could about the defense, right?
I mean, yeah, Jets fans, if you've got anything you want to share, comment it. But I think that just goes to show, they gotta, just add talent, get more young guys, draft low, free agency. I mean, you have a lot of draft capital, so maybe make some trades. But I would think you'd want to go more, lean towards the younger guys and try and build for the future because you're not one player away. But I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's a full rebuild here with the Jets, and it should be fun to see how quickly they can turn this around. And yeah, we covered the offense and the defense, so now, I mean, we can take it really any direction we want.
Well, first off, in these videos, we always do like to mention the special teams because they do exist.
Yeah.
Place kicker, Chase McLaughlin. Punter is Braden Mann.
Braden.
Braden Mann, excuse me. And Braxton Berrios is punt and kick returner. And then long snapper, Thomas Hennessy. Always got to give the love to the long snappers because unless they're on your team, you have no idea who they are. Shout out to Bears long snapper, Pat Scales.
All right.
Good for you.
I'm going to do something right now. I just came up with the name of it. Maybe I'll keep it throughout this series or not. But it's time for Tyler's tips here.
Okay.
So, Tyler's takes.
Well, I mean, it's just tips for the next season. What can they do? There's a lot this team can do. Right, Ryan, you said they're not just a quarterback away. They're a whole roster away, really, it seems like. Although they weren't the worst team in the NFL, the Jaguars were this year. Specifically, though, they got to go after some defensive players. We talked about it. There's some good high-profile free agents out there, Justin Simmons and Anthony Harris, both safeties. They could use some help there. Also, Levante David. And then also Shaquille Barrett is out there. Those are just some of the top guys. Who knows if they'd want to go there. Other guys would include William Jackson, Marcus Williams. I mean, there's some parts out there. Richard Sherman's out there as well, I believe.
Yeah, I think he'll be finding a new home.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gotten that impression.
So there's plenty of options for him. And I don't know if anyone's going to want to go there, but they got to go after defensively first in terms of free agents. If you're looking into the draft, I think that's where you start to – I mean, you got to look mainly defensively as well because that's the weakest point of your team. But you got to try and get another wide receiver in there. This draft class at wide receiver is not nearly as good as last year's was. Stay away from the quarterback position. You don't need one. Maybe go get yourself a better lineman.
Well, they could if they really like someone, but I don't feel the need to go get someone.
We do not recommend it here at the touchdown table.
Yes. And then I think a lot of that draft and a lot of the free agency's got to be focused on the defense and then making sure you can, maybe go out and get a high-profile wide receiver. That's really what it is to me, defensively and wide receiver, and then draft some linemen.
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line, hey, Mekhi Becton was a nice start, but, there are, 4 other linemen, so.
You got to protect Darnold. I mean,
yeah.
If you want to see if he's good, you got to give him a chance to succeed. And, I mean, I don't know. Like, you would think maybe they want to go offense because it's not good, but then you look at the defense and you go, that's also not good. I mean, really, it's just, there's a lot of work to be done here.
Yeah.
And, Saleh's got to, build that culture. Let's talk about him for a bit as well now that we're on to Robert Saleh being hired there. We talked about this in our podcast. Jordan asked, was this a good hire for the Jets? And I said, yes, it was. Maybe it wasn't offensively, but, I mean, Adam Gase was offensively, and that didn't work out well. And they need a culture there, and they need someone that these players can follow and play better because of the leadership that is in front of them. And Saleh has been that in San Francisco. You've seen him being the guy, the hype man on the sideline.
Yeah.
Being a good...
sometimes he's on the field when he shouldn't be.
Yes.
Yes.
Having great connections with his players, and that's what this Jets team needs is just a whole better of a... What's the word? Culture. That's the word.
Culture.
And it doesn't seem like they have very much of that, and that could be something... I got the word eventually.
Yeah.
But Saleh could bring that to them. So there's some exciting things for the Jets, and I don't think they'll have their don't think they'll be repeating 2-14. I don't know if they'll be much better, but
Yeah.
I would hopefully expect much better than 2-14.
Yeah, I mean, well, I just want to say real quick,
Anyway.
with the Robert Saleh hire, I think he would really be great, anywhere, because he brings that energy. He, earns the respect of his players. The players love playing for him. They understand what he wants them to do. So I think the hire is great. I don't know. I just didn't expect him to go to the Jets. I didn't expect it, but that doesn't mean I don't like it. I think he's going to be a good coach there. I think he'll build a nice culture. I think he'll get the most out of his players. It's just I got Detroit Lions vibes from Robert Saleh. I don't know why, but
they did go offense too.
Yeah, but it's again unexpected, but still a very good hire. Robert Saleh, I think I can speak for all of us per se. We thought he was one of the top coaching candidates out there, right?
Yeah.
For sure. So the Jets, we think you got a good one. Surprised all of us, I think. Did anyone really call this one? Not really.
No. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked, but
Well, yeah, we knew he was going to go somewhere, but not where we predicted. But
well, someone had to go to the Jets.
Yeah, and solid. Seems happy to go there. Get his head coaching opportunity. So Jets, you got a good one.
Yeah, and you guys are talking about this culture that's going to be built with the Jets, but if they really want to get something going, Robert Saleh just can't bring just a spark. He has to bring a fire to this team. There really has to be a whole revamp of energy throughout this whole team, not just him, not just throughout the staff, but with all the players. We know that they have struggled last year. It was tough, and they barely got a win, but they ended up getting 2 wins at the end of the season. So I guess there's some optimism there, but these players, if they're returning, they're angry. They know what it's like to lose, and they hate that feeling. At least I hope they do. They are angry. There is going to need to be fire brought to this team, and Robert Saleh is the guy to bring that fire to this team. I hope the best for this organization because it was not easy for them last year. So I think across the table, we got the green table. It's not for the Jets, but I guess you can think it is. But
it's really not that dark of a green.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's not like their type of green, but it's close enough.
Yeah, it's close enough. So we hope the best for your franchise. And you know what? If you want to do better than Jets management, listen to the touchdown table. Go after defense. Don't grab a quarterback at 2. You could trade back as Ryan wants to do, or maybe take some great player like Devontae Smith if you really want to go that early on him. I don't know. Listen to us. Do it.
Yeah.
We should be the general manager.
I think we would be a great, management team. I think we could run an NFL football team, at least from a football standpoint. I don't know about the other stuff, but I think we'd be pretty good.
I mean, we could hire someone else for that.
Yeah, we can do the draft and tell people what players to sign. Like I want them, but other than that, they can take care of the rest.
Yeah. I like it. Okay. Well, as Jordan mentioned, he said they gotta get that fire going. This is a rebuilding team, obviously, and they're just starting to get the first couple building blocks going. So let's talk about next year, as we're going to do in all these videos when we're talking about the offseason outlet. Let's just make a very, very rough prediction of what their record will be next year. Keep in mind, 17 games next year.
Yeah.
So
it's exciting.
It's not 5-11. It's 5-12. It's not 4-12. It's 4-13. So it's going to be different. So very rough estimate. Just what's on the top of your mind. We're not even looking at their schedule. It's too early. So
5-12.
This is no mean official, Ryan.
I'll say 6-11. Sounds so weird.
Yeah. 5-12 is weird as to say. That was what I was going to say too. So clearly we don't think this.
Addition in our heads.
Clearly we don't think this team is going to be all the way at the top next year. But they got a foundation now, and now they just got to continue to build on it with Saleh being their coach.
They got their Lego blocks there.
That's right.
Okay.
Now they just need a 5-year-old kid to
Don't step on them.
No, don't step on that. Actually hurts too.
Yeah, it does really hurt badly. That's probably the mistake they made this year. They stepped in the Legos.
Yep.
And then they were able to recover from the injuries. It was too late on
sword this year.
Oh, ow.
Okay. That would
But they got surgery.
Let's wrap that up on that note there. So thanks for watching this video. Make sure to like the video. Subscribe to our channel with the notification bell. Comment down below what you thought about what we said about the Jets and your opinions about the Jets heading into next year and the past year, the 2020 season. We'd like to know all of it. Go check out our podcast and our Instagram. And with that, we will see you guys later.
See ya.